Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Welcome to Bhakti Secret episode number 22. Thirukkolur Penpillai is continuing her mixture of divine experiences and she chooses Krishna Leela in her next few episodes. Now, listening to this with great astonishment is Swami Ramanuja and his disciples. Now, Swami Ramanuja knows each and every statement, the history, the people involved, what was the context in which these incidents happened. Yet, he is listening with great interest, rapt attention, as if he is hearing these incidents for the first time from Thirukkolur Penpillai. Such is the greatness of Swami Ramanuja. Now, in this Rahasyam, Thirukkolur Penpillai is talking about someone who is very close to Lord Krishna's heart. Yes, it is about the lady in whose womb Lord Krishna decided to take birth. It is none other than Devaki Mata. Her current Rahasyam to Swami Ramanuja is, did I give birth to the Lord like Devaki Mata? Now, Thirukkolur Penpillai is trying to benchmark herself with the pains and sufferings which Devaki Mata had to undergo before giving birth to Lord Krishna. So, which is going to be the content of today's Bhakti Rahasyam. Before we go into the Bhakti Rahasyam, women are more blessed because they have an opportunity to give birth to a new life. And if that new life happens to be a great devotee of the Lord, or the Lord Himself, as in this case, it gives a great experience which cannot be explained in mere words. So, our Sanatana Dharma rightly honors motherhood with the statement Matru Devo Bhava, which means it says that mothers are equal to goddesses. So, my tribute and salutations to all the mothers before we get into this topic. Now, coming to Devaki's life, she was the cousin sister of King Kamsa. Now, Kamsa had a great attachment towards his sister, and this was reciprocated by Devaki also for her brother. The time came for Devaki's marriage, and she was married off to Vasudeva. Once the marriage ceremonies were over, Kamsa decided to escort them to their new residence in his chariot. It so happens that these three people were traveling in Kamsa's chariot. Suddenly there was a voice from the sky, as if it was the nature warning Kamsa. So the voice said that, "Oh Kamsa, you are so much attached to your sister Devaki without knowing that Devaki's 8th child is going to kill you." Kamsa flew mad with rage. All the brotherly love for the sister just vanished in that particular moment when Kamsa heard that voice. Alas, isn't that the truth even in today's relationships? This demonstrates how fragile human relationships can be. When the selfish motives take priority over human emotions and feelings, that is the time when the relationship starts breaking down. Every day we see some or the other news where brothers or sisters are fighting amongst themselves for some property, or father and sons are fighting for some kind of a company deal, and so on. So these kind of disputes were existing even in those days. So coming back to the story, Kamsa, he just draws out his sword and he's ready to kill Devaki. Now Vasudeva, in this circumstance, he is very calm. He tries to intervene and reason with Kamsa as to why he should not kill Devaki, and Devaki doesn't mean any harm to her brother. But where will such reasons or logic work out for a man whose end is already foretold? So Kamsa is in no mood to listen. That is when Vasudeva tries to strike a compromise. Vasudeva says, look Kamsa, if there is some danger to you from the children who are going to be born, then I will hand over all those children to you at the moment they are born, so that you can deal with those babies in whatever manner you deem fit. Now Vasudeva could think of that solution at that point in time to ensure Devaki's safety. Now Kamsa felt for a moment that it was a logical compromise or a deal, and then he just drove them and put them in a prison in a place called Mathura. Now it so happens that Devaki and Vasudeva are leading their lives in the prison in Mathura. Now some days pass by, and that's when the first child is born to Devaki and Vasudeva. Devaki looks at it lovingly out of motherly affection. Vasudeva takes the kid. So Devaki thinks that he is going to fondle with the kid, he is going to play with the kid, but he just starts moving towards the prison door. Now Devaki asks, why is he, or where is he going towards the prison door? That's when Vasudeva reminds her that he had promised that he would hand over all the children to Kamsa. Devaki is horrified. She knows that this baby would be killed at the instant moment when it is handed over to Kamsa. She pleads with Vasudeva not to hand over the child to Kamsa. In the meanwhile, listening to the cries of the child, Kamsa rushes to the prison and he just snatches the baby from Vasudeva. Devaki tries to plead with Kamsa also not to do anything with this child, and it is just a newborn child, it means no harm to him. But as we saw earlier, Kamsa has his end foretold, so he is in no mood to listen and he kills the child in a very horrible manner. Now Devaki had to see this the end of her first child right in front of her own eyes. Imagine the plight of a mother who has to go through this. So the pain and the suffering which she went cannot be explained in mere words. Now this kind of a situation happens not once, not twice, but it happens for 6 times. So 6 times Devaki gave birth to a child. It was forcibly snatched by Kamsa. It was horribly killed by him right in front of Devaki's eyes. Now think of a mother who, in spite of losing 6 children right at the moment at which they were born, what would be her plight? Would she have any energy, any motivation, any enthusiasm left in life? No. Yet it was Vasudeva who was with Devaki in all those troubled times, giving her the moral support, and he, along with Devaki, they constantly chanted the names of Lord Hari, of Lord Vishnu, with a view to take them from this stressful situation. Then the time comes for the 7th child. Now, as per Lord Krishna's plan, this 7th child is none other than the avatar or incarnation of Adisesha, or the serpent bed of Lord Vishnu. Now, according to his plan, he, with his powers, he transfers this child from the womb of Devaki. Before it is born, he transfers this from the womb of Devaki to womb of Rohini Mata, who is another wife of Vasudeva. Now, this 7th child then is born as Balrama, who is the elder brother of Lord Krishna. But for Devaki, she has lost her 7th child also even before it is born. So 6 children gone in front of her own eyes, and 7th child, she has no idea what happened to that child. It's a mystery for her. Now, at this point in time, the Lord says, it's time for me to descend on the earth. So it's time for Devaki and Vasudeva's 8th child, and that child is Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna chooses the apt time and place to be born on this earth. So at that particular moment, when Devaki feels the pains and the Lord is going to come out of her womb, all the celestial gods, the devatas, they are ready with flowers and garlands in the sky to welcome Lord Krishna on the earth. At the right time, Lord Krishna comes out, and he comes out with his 4 arms, the 2 usual arms and the 2 on his shoulder, with the conch and the chakra, the shank and the chakra. Devaki sees that kid, and she is finally elated that after all these pains, after all these troubles, the Lord finally has come out. Vasudeva is also equally pleased seeing the kid, and both yet they constantly chant the names of Lord Vishnu, of Lord Hari, even in this moment of happiness. Now, the current Bhakti secret ends here, where Thirukkolur Penpillai is comparing herself with the pains and sufferings undergone by Devaki Mata. She is trying to put herself in that situation, and she laments that Devaki Mata, in spite of all these troubled situations, could still remain focused on Lord Vishnu, on Lord Hari. She was chanting those divine names. Oh Swami, I have never gone through such pains and sufferings, such untold troubles. Yet I am not as devoted to the Lord as Devaki Mata is. So where am I a great devotee? So what is my point in staying in a divine land of Thirukkolur or moving out of it? So I am no way a great devotee when you compare me with the greats like Devaki Mata. So I am moving out of Thirukkolur. So this is the current Bhakti secret. Now what happened after that? Like Krishna came out and immediately there would have been some actions, right? So fortunately Thirukkolur Penpillai continues that in her next 2 episodes, else she mixes and matches with her statement. So what is the teaching for us from this particular Bhakti episode? Now if we see Devaki's life, there was nothing but pain. Now if we draw parallel to our life, we see ups and downs in our life. Whenever there is a painful situation, our mind continues to be on that particular problem or that situation or to the people who caused it. And if we see the faith or the devotion in the Lord, it usually goes down and our mind remains steady in those problems or the people who caused it. Yet if we see Devaki's life, even with that kind of a suffering, that level of torture she had to endure, she would have easily lost focus on God. She could have become agnostic. Yet she chose to stay devoted, to be immersed in chanting the names of Lord Hari, and that helped her to see through those stressful times. So just think about it, isn't the same applicable to us when there are uncontrollable circumstances or situations where we have to live through it, there is no other choice? Should our minds be focused on that problem, or should it be diverted to the Lord and chanting His names? In fact, in this age of Kali, many great devotees have advocated that chanting the names of the Lord continuously would help us to take our minds away from all these stressful situations, and it is an acceptable method of devotion, of reaching the Lord. So think of Devaki Mata, her pains whenever we are in a troubled or a stressful situation, and definitely it would give us a light or a guidance to go through that stressful period, to ensure that we face that situation and come out of it. So that was all from our current Bhakti secret. Stay devoted, stay blessed, and stay tuned for our next Bhakti episode. Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Shrimate Ramanujaya Namaha.